Hey, welcome back to the Spot for Fantasy Footballers. I'm Asa Rehman. We'll be going through my Waiver 11, the draft team, and my traditional FPL budget team. And I have to begin by saying thank you for potentially saving my season. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. It is the spot for fantasy footballers. Okay, we'll get to the fantasy draft content a little bit later on. But first, I want to talk about my traditional FPL team, my budget team, if you will. And I want to thank you for potentially saving my season by talking me off the ledge last week. I had mentioned in the last video that I was thinking about dropping Reece James and picking up Daniel Lamarty. Well, thankfully, I didn't. I made another move instead, and I picked up the points for Reece James and might be hanging on to him for a little while longer after that performance, a goal and assist in that last match for Chelsea. So thank you so much for that. Maybe you can talk me out of my decisions this week ahead of Gameweek 3. And it looks like I'll be making a few decisions, potentially taking a hit to bring in Lukaku this week. Let's see what you think. So this is a look at the Game Week 2 team, and you can't see the bench. It doesn't matter. You get a full look at the team in just a moment when I walk through the changes for Game Week 3. But Reece James obviously stayed in the lineup. That really helped me out. And then the player that I brought in was Raya, the goalkeeper, who performed well, picked up 6 points for me and saved me 0.5 in the budget as well. Solid captain, obviously, a miscalculation there. I thought a lot of people made. Calvert-Lewin coming through, so happy with that. Overall, decent performance. Could have been better, obviously. Need to make some changes. So let's look at that now. So we'll begin the exercise by just getting rid of all the players that I would like to remove from the lineup right now. And that starts with Tierney, then Mason Mount, and then Timo Werner, who was just a mistake from the very beginning. So I'm going to have to swallow that one a little bit and then pick up the replacements, find the players that I want to put in. And we'll start with Romelu Lukaku because that's the one that I want. That's the one I've been targeting for the past week. So let's get him into the lineup and then find a cheap replacement for Tierney. So sort this according to price and then find the best available player in that £4 million range. And there's one that a few people have talked about recently. So there's no surprise that Tino Liveramento has been good, really good actually against Manchester United, just 2 points, but the way he performed on the pitch was incredible. So I like the potential there. Will he continue to claim that spot and retain that position as a starter? I don't know, but I think it's worth a flyer at this point. So let's go ahead and pick up Liveramento, mostly because of value and then potential upside as well. So we'll bring him in, and then we have just over £6 million to replace Mason Mount. And that's the midfield spot. There's one you're obviously thinking of, everyone's been talking about recently, but let's see what else is available before we talk about the player that I'm sure you think I should pick up. Joe Willock is a player that I've actually really liked. I like his situation in Newcastle. It hasn't quite come through for him as far as fantasy numbers go so far this season. So we'll look at the fixtures coming up. Southampton's not bad. The Manchester United fixture, not ideal. Willock's a player that I'm going to continue to monitor, have a look at, and maybe bring into the team at some point, but not just yet. And some other players, Sarr is another player actually for Watford that I've been eyeing. So he's another one that I could potentially bring in. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get to the player that I'm sure you're thinking of. There he is, Said Benrahma. Back-to-back 12-point performances for West Ham. The catalyst is obviously a big part of their attack. So let's get him in and see what the team looks like. So that is under budget for me. You can't see the budget there. Oh, there you can. So obviously taking a hit, but 3 players that I feel confident about: Lukaku, Benrahma, and Liveramento. So bringing those 3 players in, I'll feel better about my team. Obviously taking a hit, not ideal, but I feel a lot better about my full 15 after making those moves. So as I mentioned in the intro, you really helped me out last week. Let me know what you think of my decisions going into Game Week 3. Let me know in the comments below, or hit me up on Twitter at @thespot4ff or at Asa Rehman. Okay, now to the draft content. And before we get to the Waiver 11, let's talk about my team. Pretty much tanked last week to pick up Lukaku. I did, and it paid off. I'm very happy with the performance in Game Week 2 for this draft team. I picked Lukaku, 46 points in the win, moving up 3 spots to 7th after grabbing Lukaku and inserting him into the lineup. And now I have the 4th waiver pick on Friday. So this is the team that got it done. Lukaku coming through, obviously. Big performance for him. Very happy about that, but not the highest scorer on the team. Laporte doing that, so very good performance from him. And then Pinnock as well coming through. Picked him up off of waivers. He was on that waiver 11 team last week, and He's a player that I thought, may as well try it out, and it came through for me. Sometimes you have to do that. You just got to take the hot hand, see what happens, and I'm very happy that I did. Sanchez in goal with 6 points as well. So overall, pretty good performance. Happy with that. Still some changes that I need to make to this team, though. Nathan Ake is probably going to get cut, and Rashford's a player that I'm still trying to trade, seeing if anyone will take the bait on that, and if I can get just any assets in return for Rashford, I'll take it at this point because I think he's still going to miss some time. The closer we get to his return, though, then the higher his price gets for a trade, so I may end up keeping him if I keep picking up wins, but he's still on the trading block. Let's see what I can get. Okay, it's what all the draft viewers have been waiting for, the waiver 11 for Game Week 3, and a couple holdovers, or 3 holdovers from Game Week 2. Raya and goal, the last Dragon, holding it down once again, was not picked up, performed well, so he's back in the waiver 11 team. And then the 2 Tottenham midfielders, Lucas Moura, Steven Bergwijn, both returning to the waiver 11 team. They were not picked up, but they're coming off 3 points each from their last match, so happy to have them back in the waiver 11 team. Okay, let's get through the defenders now. Shane Duffy should be picked up in your draft league if he hasn't been scooped up already. He's continuing to perform week in, week out, and he is a mainstay for that team, so he's going to perform, he's going to play at least. Andreas Christensen, can't say the same about him. Not sure about his status going forward, just as far as minutes go. But when he's on the pitch, he's performing fairly well, so maybe worth taking a flyer on him. Eric Dyer has been very good through the first 2 weeks. And then we get to our Brentford assets. Pontus Janssen and Rico Henry. You may not have known who they were coming into the season, but you're probably learning who they are now. And Rico Henry, an interesting option, the left back. It's been pretty good through the first couple weeks, and there's always potential for an assist as well from him, so maybe want to keep an eye on. Now to the midfield, Alexis McAllister of Brighton has been pretty good, and that's been somewhat unexpected for me anyway. Was not on my radar coming into this, but he's been performing quite well. Always hard to pick up the midfielders, though, because there are so many great midfield assets available. Demarai Gray is another cool, exciting player, but I don't know if I have the room to bring him in. Just one to keep an eye on at this point. And then Anwar Al-Ghazi, if you have a drop spot available, he's a player who does perform from time to time, and he can save you or score big for you on any given week. So he's one to watch moving forward. And then we talked about Lucas Moura and Steven Bergwijn already. Christian Benteke, happy to have him on the team. Forward's always hard to find on the waiver pile, but Benteke we dropped last week. Not sure for who, but we're happy to have him available for this waiver 11 team. And then Ashley Barnes is usually available, as is Jay Rodriguez. So those two Burnley forwards will make the waiver 11 team. And there it is. That is the waiver 11 team for Game Week 3. Okay, that wraps up the Game Week 3 preview video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And let me know what you think of my teams in the comments or on Twitter at TheSpot4FF or at Asa Rehman. Enjoy the rest of your week, your weekend. Whatever you're doing, do it safely. Thanks so much for hanging out at The Spot.